In order to craft an actionable reboot scenario, we still have to identify what will change. Ask yourself, what are the things that are obviously changing right now? You won't find the answer just by contemplation. You must search for it. Actively seek new information and identify trends. In my search, I learned there was no better resource than the latest news reports. First, I opened the internet search engines, entered my job, and read articles that I got as search results. I also entered queries as simple as the things that coronavirus is changing, and I read news articles that I got as search results. This might not sound very impressive, but nothing was more helpful than news reports for finding out what was changing in my industry. Ji-yoon told me, "My company's PR team compiles articles about the publishing industry and sends them to me, so I thought that I was well informed about the latest trends in the publishing industry." After hearing what you said, I searched for articles and found a lot of new information that I hadn't known. I guess that I should look up news articles more frequently. You are the only person who can identify the changes taking place in your industry that are relevant to you. Even looking at the same piece of information, some people might find it just a random story about what's going on in the world, while others might believe that it is an extremely important piece of information. You can get more diverse insights from the information you find yourself than from what's been compiled for you by others. I spent most of this stage searching for information. I analyzed the changes happening around me by reading a wide variety of information sources such as newspapers, books, and reports. While doing this, I realized that searching for information is a skill in itself. The more you do it, the more skilled you become, and the more capable you are of finding more premium information. At first, you might be a little sloppy, but if you keep at it, you will soon become well-versed with the trends happening in your industry. As you refine your list of the skills that you need to keep and improve, and of what will change and what will remain the same, you will notice yourself responding to your searches almost subconsciously by drawing lines. You draw lines to connect relevant pieces of information together, and at some point, it creates a chemical reaction. Through this chemical reaction comes a stream of new ideas, such as, if I learned this digital technology and applied it to my marketing, I would be able to attract more customers. Or, since this is emerging as a promising new industry, I would definitely become competitive if I started preparing for it now. I know a CEO of a startup who is in his late 20s and has a new business idea each time I see him. He must have shared at least 50 with me in the time we've known each other. Now his train of ideas is running at an accelerated speed because his existing and newly acquired competencies are in sync with the changes that have been happening in the world lately. I imagine that even at this moment, he is drawing numerous lines in his brain. If you have finished writing down your list and you still don't feel a spark of excitement, it means your analysis is incomplete. Don't be discouraged. You simply need to keep studying, keep looking for those dots to connect. Continue to ask those around you, lean on experts in your industry, and refine your lists daily. One day soon it will all make sense, and you'll know exactly what to do in the post-coronavirus world. Stage 2. Write a 10-line synopsis by applying the reboot formulas. Use your imagination to write a 10-line synopsis. Last year, I posted MK's 10-line diary on Instagram. At first, I started writing 10-line diary entries whenever I made a resolution or had a new idea so that I would not forget them. Gradually, the activity turned into a habit similar to keeping a daily journal. Whenever I forgot the resolution I'd made previously, I would read through the 10-line diary entry that I had shared on Instagram, and this refreshed my resolution. For me, the 10-line diary was a guide to pulling my thoughts together, following through on my resolutions, and adding a sense of anticipation to my daily life. When the coronavirus hit and all routines went out the window, I started writing things down again. Every time I found a small clue to pulling through the crisis, I wrote it down in my notebook, as I did in the 10-line diary. At first, I wrote these down rather casually, but after I learned how to write a scenario, I started grouping them into what I needed to keep, what I needed to improve, what is likely to change, and what is likely to remain the same, all based on my own criteria. When all the small clues were put together, they created new combinations and provided me with solutions one by one. Just a few days ago, my 10-line entry read, "If we are to survive in this changed world, we must transform our company into a content-providing IT company. For this to happen, I, the president of the company, must be the first to study digital technology. I must also hire IT specialists. Together with them, I will have to carry out the research needed to decide what kind of technology we need to adopt in our content products in order to create the best synergy. We also have to upgrade our systems and content every day. The online college, MKYU, must also be revamped. Wouldn't it be a great help if, whenever necessary, MKYU offered classes for digitally illiterate students? I must take preparatory steps right now to put together such an education system as soon as possible."